The Ironman Triathlon, including a harbor swim and a bike race through Camp Pendleton, returns to Oceanside April 5th, and the coinciding Kids Ironman is April 4th. Last year, Visit Oceanside informs me that last year's Ironman brought in $4.9 million to our local economy. That is quite the boost. And so congratulations to everybody who benefited and to Visit Oceanside who helps stage this event. Meanwhile, Visit Oceanside, and I don't know if people know this, but Visit Oceanside, for every kid that enrolls in the Kids Ironman event, the Ironman event donates $5 to the City of Oceanside's Parks and Recreation Scholarship Fund. And for every $5 donated by Ironman to this fund, Visit Oceanside matches it with an equal $5 matching fee. And last year, they raised $4,000 to this fund, and that is very, very cool that happens. Meanwhile, Visit Oceanside's Leslie Gall reports that, remember when Vice President Vance came to Oceanside a few weeks ago, and he stayed at the Seabird, and he went to a wedding ceremony that was held both at the Mission Pacific and at the Seabird. Well, those restaurants, I think, did very well, but not only did those restaurants do well, but all those CHP officers and all those secret agent men stayed at other hotels, including the Spring Hill Suites and the Marriott, and their rooms showed an increase of 30 to 60 rooms increase in occupancy per night. Thank you to the Ironman, and we're glad to have you back April 5th and the day before with the Kids Ironman, April 4th. All right, so I don't know what you think, but when I see, overground utilities, all these lovely streets with trees and palm trees or what have you, and then we've got these hideous poles and all these utility poles with all these wires and stuff, to me that says hillbilly. It says, why can't we break out of our hillbilly past and underground everything? Well, it's easier said than done, of course, but I did not know this, but going forward, pretty much every new building needs to be undergrounded, or its utilities need to be undergrounded. Now, there are some exceptions. First of all, if the voltage is too high, that may impact it, or if it's an existing building that hasn't been torn down and rebuilt, if it's an existing building, they may not underground the utilities. Or, and this is just about to be completed and occupied, the new development at the corner of Hunsacker and Whaley, right there in Fire Mountain. They tore down all those wonderful old houses and put in all those high-density 8 new stack and pack units. Well, guess what? That was our state at work because of something called density bonus. And because one of those 8 new houses is going to be low income, affordable, that allowed them to skirt the mandate that they had to underground their utilities, and they didn't have to underground their utilities. So in exchange for stacking and packing and high densifying Fire Mountain there on the corner of Hunsaker and Whaley, they got an extra bonus. They didn't have to underground their utilities. Isn't that wonderful? Our state government at work. Now here's a segment we called Openings and Closings, where we talk about the ever-shifting, evolving business and or restaurant climate here in Oceanside. There are 4 food and drink establishments that are changing their menu. Now, there's an all-new menu at the Poorhouse on South Coast Highway in South Oceanside. And the old kitchen crew there is no longer. And there's a new gentleman who came in, and he is now in charge of the menu, and he gets to live or die by whatever food he presents. And he gets to keep all the profits from the food that he serves. And they start every day. They no longer serve lunch, but they start serving every day at 2:00. And they have some really cool stuff that they're offering there, like chicken croquetas, patatas bravas. It's supposed to be potatoes, but they call it patatas. Okay, fine. Chile guarito. I guess that means a little chili that likes to fight. I'm not sure. And then ceviche baja. I know what that is. You can't fool me. And then they also have mortadella melt. I would imagine that's a great big fat mushroom with maybe Swiss cheese on it. And again, they serve every day at 2:00, and it's at the Poorhouse in Oceanside. Meanwhile, just down the street, there is a new kitchen being installed at the South O Brewing, and it's going to supplant the outdoor pop-ups that are there most days, and they're still building that out. We originally thought it was going to be open in March, but these things take time, and that's still being put together. And then at Pacific Coast Spirit, they're going to be a new component. The new food component is going to be called the Mill Room, and that's going to be ready in about a month. And they're going to specialize in American gastropub. And so that should be open in about a month. And then Northern Pine Brewing, of course, that's right there on Horn Street at the top of the hill there. And we hear that they have a new food operator coming in there. And we tried to find out what was going on there. And we call them, but their phone is disconnected. So Northern Pine Brewing, we would urge that you get your phone reconnected. Yes, this is interesting. So the formerly Hello Betty's, it's at the top of this Spring Hill Suites. They are, I think it was at my high school reunion last June, when they had a band playing upstairs there, and it was outdoors, and yet there were some problems with noise complaints. And that happens when you play outdoors on a rooftop and you're surrounded by hotels. Well, they want to have live music again, and they are now efforting and trying to work things out with the police and with the city to keep the decibel level down so that this new venue called the Surf Club can have live bands on the rooftop right there in downtown Oceanside, right near the beach. All right, the Del Mar Fair this year is June 11th through July 6th. And, if you're an entertainer and you can get a job there playing, at the grandstand stage, you're doing really well for themselves. I remember a few years ago, they had a band called Creedence Clearwater Revisited without John Fogerty, and they got like $50,000, which is outrageous, if you ask me, that you get the guys who don't matter to glom onto John Fogerty's creation and get 50 grand. Well, guess what? It doesn't stop. On let's see, the second day of the fair, there is a band called Foreigner, which is playing. The only problem is, well, there's two problems. One is the ticket price. It starts at $69 and goes up to $141. The other problem is that it's a cover band now. There are no original members in Foreigner playing in Foreigner. Isn't that cool? And so what this means is that you're paying a lot of money to see a cover band. For my money, I would much rather see two cover bands in one night on March 22nd at the Poorhouse, when I can see a Van Halen cover band called Light Up the Sky. I guess that's one of their songs. I don't remember that one. And then an AC/DC tribute called CADC. See what they did there? And that's only $10. And that's only a fraction of $69. I say go to the Poorhouse and see these two cover bands instead of putting up with the Del Mar Fair and the parking and the fact there's no real people. Listen, if that's your kind of bag and you like that stuff, God bless you. And if you like Foreigner, good for you. But in my mind, Dirty White Boy by Foreigner may be the worst song ever made.